Thank you. Following up on that point, the current dynamic is not to our advantage, as you described, as Iran has been, building the partnerships with Russia and been getting a little bit of a free pass in this. The way to shift that dynamic is to get back to the Saudi Arabia-Israel peace agreement with the U.S. as well. If, in fact, we were able to get back to a place where Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel, and the U.S. were a leading partnership against Iranian influence, I think that would improve things. But walk us through how that would improve things and what the path back to that type of partnership is. And that's for both General Kurilla and Dr. Wallander.
Thank you, Congressman Smith. I think that the first aspect of getting back to that partnership is working with countries in the region to find a long-term solution to the plight of the Palestinian people, which means getting on the path, back on the path of a two-state solution, the creation of a capable, stable, responsible Palestinian state alongside the state of Israel. That will create the diplomatic space to get back to discussions with Saudi Arabia and other Gulf partners.
And towards that end, if I may, sorry to interrupt. And let me be clear. I mean, the reason Israel does it, they are threatened on multiple sides, and there are too many people around them that have never accepted their right to exist as a country, and they're trying to figure out how do they survive in that very complicated world. How do we convince them that one of the ways they survive is to embrace the idea of self-governance for the Palestinian people?
Well, the first and foremost, in order to embrace that possibility, the people of Israel need to feel secure.
Absolutely.
And so first and foremost is the defeat of Hamas and the creation of permissive security conditions in which Israel can then look towards that longer future. Those aspects are interactive, and we talk with our Israeli partners every day about the importance of civilian harm mitigation and avoiding civilian harm, not only on the moral merits, and not only because it's consistent with international law, but because it's in Israel's interest to create that diplomatic.
Sorry, I'm a little tight on time. I have one question for General Langley. I want to get General Kurilla a chance to respond as well. Go ahead.
What my Arab partners tell me is just that there has to be a viable process and a path to a two-state solution is where they would see being able to come back to the table on some type of normalization.
Yeah, thank you. And General Langley, one of the worst wars and worst humanitarian crisis is going on right now that nobody's really talking about, and that's the war in Sudan. Can you talk to us a little? Is there any prospect of that war slowing down, coming to an end? What is our role in working with partners in the region? Because that is a humanitarian crisis, quite frankly, rivals Gaza right now, and nobody seems to be discussing it. What should we be doing about it? What is the future?
Ranking Member, Sudan is still in the consequence right now of Burhan and Hemedti, and back in 15 April 2023 was a problem. I know that we've engaged whole of government with the State Department going in Jeddah and trying to get those parties together to solve it. But it hasn't worked. So we're still keeping engagements globally, whereas other leaders are going. But I'll just tell you, especially the RSF, Hemedti, his forces are backed by some, I'll just say, egregious members on the globe that are pushing for their own great power competition goals in that country for access. And I'm talking about the Russian Federation. They would love a warm water port. They'd love to have the port there in Sudan as their own. That's against our global campaign plans. I can talk with a higher level of specificity in closed session, but that is a concern.
Sure, thank you. And just quickly, General Kurilla, Afghanistan, there's interesting, Pakistan is becoming more concerned about the Taliban. What is a potential for partnerships there to try to help us keep an eye on the Taliban and ISIS and whatever else is going on in Afghanistan? And I apologize, you've got 25 seconds.
Congressman, so I literally talked to the Chief of the Army Staff from Pakistan this morning in a regular scheduled call. They have tremendous insight into the violent extremist organizations inside of Afghanistan, and I think there is tremendous opportunity to be able to partner with Pakistan on that.
Great, thank you. That's what I want to yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair, not